And fuck, they give a load of validation.
Hello, and welcome to F Them Fish, AuDHD for Grown-Ups with me, Callie Elwood-Barrett, and
Jane Girton.
Whoop,
I
whoop,
sang my name because
whoop.
I thought it would be more fun.
I did think it was more fun, actually. It was
Thank you.
good. And we are here to talk to you about all things ADHD, autism, neurodivergence, all sorts of things that you may have thought about yourself, maybe didn't. Maybe we'll give you something new to think about. What do you reckon?
Sounds amazing.
We're not medical
There's so much
professionals.
to talk about.
There really is. We're not here to tell you how to do your thing. You do you, boo. But we are here to give you some insight into some of the stuff we do and some of the stuff we've heard, some of the stuff we learn about.
The things we can share from our experience, not everybody's, because every neurodiverse person is diverse. It's literally in the word.
It literally does what it says on the tin. Should we get straight into it? What are we going to talk about today? Should we talk about the bloody tech issue? No, I think they're bored of hearing about the tech issues.
Because let's face it, we'll have tech issues every damn day of our damn lives.
Whatever. Let's talk about my t-shirt.
It's just distracting me at all times. And your beautiful coloured hair.
I crafted.
I can't believe you crafted that. I mean,
For
I can because
those-
you're amazing, but wow.
Well, because I also have like ADHD and a absolute touch of the tism that's going to make me, don't tell me I can't fucking craft, Callie, even if I'm telling myself, right? But for those of you who are not watching on YouTube, and if you're not, why not? Why aren't they on YouTube, Jane?
Get on YouTube, guys, at
I
ND
don't
Wild
get
Global.
Do you know what it is, right? I know why they're not on YouTube. Yeah, because I forget to tell them it's on ND Wild Global, but also it's on the F Them Fish YouTube channel. But I think it's because people go to YouTube and realise that it's a brand new YouTube channel and therefore not many people have seen it. And they look at it and they go, oh, there's only a handful of people who've watched this. I don't want to watch it then. That's what
Be
it
one
is.
of the early adopters, guys. Be cool. Get in
Early
early.
adopters. Anyway, but if you're not watching on YouTube, I made hair.
Just
that's
full on
not
hair with
quite
no,
right, is it?
no explanation, no context.
Oh, my goodness. We are going to be a little bit sweary today as well, just so that everybody's aware. This is sweary. But you know what? If you're here and you've heard us before, you know we're a little bit sweary, so you're choosing that. That's your choice, and we love that for you.
My swear bears.
Swear bears. Anyway, so I made
the
some
hair.
So, like, people who've been following me for a little while will know that once upon a time, about 2.5, maybe 3 years ago, I got some hair extensions sewn into my head. Yeah, they literally sew them in, mostly to my hair, not to my head, really, I guess, but it sounds way more dramatic that way. And then at about 2 o'clock in the morning, I had a full-on meltdown. About 2 weeks in. I don't even think it lasted 2 weeks. I can't remember. There is a reel about it on my Instagram.
What was it? The sensory feeling of it?
Oh my God. Imagine you've got like a little bead, and it is. They literally sew beads onto your hair and then they sew the extensions onto the beads, right? So you have this little row of beads on the underneath of your hair, and everything you do, it pulls.
Oh.
No, I like having my hair pulled, but that's something entirely different. And
I wanted to vomit at the thought of that sensory feeling until you said that.
I do like him. Anyway, but then laying down, can you imagine? And everyone's like, oh, you'll get used to it. And I'm like,
No.
Spoiler alert, she did not get used to it. Anyway, so, very early hours of the morning, my ex-husband was there with a pair of nail scissors and a set of pliers trying to get Anyway, so then I made a halo, which is like the one with the fishing wire, and I wore that heaps, like with them. And then I decided that was too annoying as well. So now I've had it on my to-do list for a year to basically buy wig clips and make clip-in hair extensions out of them because they're real human hair. They were really bloody expensive, right? And the hairdresser who did them did such a beautiful job, but yeah, it was all me. Anyway, so now we've got a deadline, Mardi Gras. And I wanted colour.
Don't remind me.
Oh my God.
My stomach flipped this morning when I was like, ugh, oh my gosh, it's so soon. And I have a toxic trait of also going, I don't need to buy that. I can make that. I'm a dickhead. I've basically committed to 0 sleep and just learning to make the most ridiculous things I've never seen in my entire life. I can't talk about it. It's too much for me right now.
Look, so I have previously done that, but I have realised very, very quickly, generally when I think that I'm wrong, And so I try not to now. I still do sometimes. But the thing is, you have talent. You actually can craft.
The amount of mistakes I make, and I was saying this to someone the other day, I will do something and let's say I've got like 60 rows of stitches to do or something. I'll do the first row and it takes forever. I'll do the second one, it gets a little bit better. And then I'll figure out, oh, if I do it this way, it gets easier. I'll literally go to the next row and have completely forgotten how to do it again. And so I never figure out how to do it on repeat because that's just not how my brain works.
See, I just get rage.
Yeah.
I go, if I'm not brilliant at it straight away, because I do craft sometimes, but I have a very specific idea. I can't find it somewhere. And then I have rage if I don't get it exactly right. And no matter how long it takes me, I will bloody do it. I will not fucking stop. And then I get the worst rage. And it's rage at myself. It's rage at inanimate objects, and it's just like,
I do know. I'm currently tackling, for anyone who knows sewing or cosplay or anything, a crinoline scoop. My God, it's the end of a long day and I can't use words. A crinoline hoop skirt, which is boning, and it's basically like a caged skirt that holds structure. I'm trying to make something that matches my like big feathered headpiece. But good God, it has taken so much longer than I thought. And I had no idea how to use boning. And hopefully it'll be amazing. Last night I figured out how to get tassels along the edge of the front bit. So it kind of is resembling a belly dance skirt, which is what I wanted. But by God, even getting to the point where I could get tassels and it is holding structure has taken me maybe a week of pretty consistent crafting every day. And I got to tell you, I get to the point where I look in the mirror and I've spent so much time on this that I'm putting extra pressure on myself in terms of
fallacy.
Yeah, but I have this image in my head of what I want it to look like because I know it will feel like that to me. But I look in the mirror and my perceived image of my body in it is different and it's distracting me from it. So I'm getting like extra layers of frustration in all the fact that I can't, like I have to figure out all the crafting, but then I've got all this other stuff coming into it as well. And it's just a massive time.
That sucks. And that feels like, why do we do this to ourselves?
Because we overcommit to things.
That couldn't
never.
Be it. No, I don't think that's it. No,
not us.
Definitely not that. Neurodivergent people, we do this, right? We don't just do the thing that it's tough, but it'll be difficult. It's something that always challenges who we are as a human being and seems to get tied up with, body image or our parenting or who we are as a leader. You know what I mean? It always seems to then involve one of those domains that is going to hurt when we don't get it exactly right.
And we ruminate. And so we keep thinking about it over and over again. And then it's not just one thing. It's not just one crafting thing. It's just this addition of all the things we're thinking about.
I just hit the microphone.
You were so into the conversation.
I was. And because I moved it was up high and I've moved it down low to see if that
makes a difference. How's your spatial awareness today?
Shh.
Really
but
good.
Who's she? She doesn't even go here.
I just have a lot of feelings.
You were saying, I can't stop playing with my hair. You were saying, can you remember?
That I have a lot of feelings. No, I do have a lot of feelings when I ruminate on these things. And this costume, truth be told, is driving me insane because I am spending so long crafting it and I want it to be beautiful. I don't need it to be perfect. Let's face it, it won't be. No one's going to look closely at those seams, thank God.
Yeah.
But I'm spending so long. I want to feel a certain way. And I look in the mirror and it's like I can't feel it because I see what I think other people are going to see of me. And there's so much body image tied to it. And as we build pressure on things like Mardi Gras only 20 days away, I feel more and more pressure. And it's self-imposed pretty much every time. No one else will ever think of this, but I am struggling with it.
Oh, honey. Well, I have seen some photos and I think you're going to look absolutely stunning. I've seen the photos and it looks incredible. And I believe that you will put it on and you will have a moment where you're going to go, fucking hell, I can't do this. And then I want you to hear my voice right now and say, yes, you fucking can, because you own that space that you're taking up, and you have earned this. You deserve this, right? And so even when those body image things hit, and they will, and I know they will, and I hear you and I feel you, I want you to call me. All right, you're going to call me, and if we need to, we'll get the flipping listeners involved, or we've got a fair number of followers on social media. We'll get them involved, and we'll all be like, Jane, right? And we're going to get you there.
I do appreciate that, but you know what it's like. Your own brain 100%. Is the one. That will be the
and that's why we're
going
to try and drown it out, because your own brain, and it's real, right? These are real feelings, and they're gross and they hurt, but we're going to try and drown it out, because I want you on that parade. I want you only thinking about everything we've done to get here.
God, it's going to be
I'm
so
feeling
joyous.
Fabulous. It is.
Validation.
I have just been hella busy. I was talking to my husband about this on the weekend. My brain doesn't do well with rest and slowing down, and I have so many things on the go. On the side, I'm also a wedding celebrant, and I've got my full-time job, and then I've got the stuff we're doing with Wild and the stuff we're doing outside of Wild, and I just think I forget how often I will take on and take on and take on and take on, and I can't live any other way. That's just what my brain does. I am a multi-everything. I will always want to learn more. I'll always want to do more. But it's just hectic.
Yeah. It's a lot, right? And we said after the launch that we weren't going to do
And literally 2 days later, the Mardi Gras application was submitted.
Did we bully you into that? Just quick question. I don't know. Did we? I'm so sorry.
No, in the best way possible. I wouldn't have even thought of it because I'd never been to Mardi Gras. So for me, as a regional Victorian, I was like, but why? Like, we don't need to yet. We could do it next year. So I'm glad and grateful that you guys have been there and you know what it's like, and you could foresee how good it would be. But at the time, I was like, we just finished the launch. I'm not ready.
We said we were going to give ourselves time. I'm like you. I can't rest. I just cannot rest. I cannot. And I want to. And do you know what causes me the most harm, I think, right, is when I listen to the people who say, you know what, you should just let yourself rest. And then I go, why can't I rest? Oh, my God. And then I beat myself up about that. So I think I've just decided I cannot rest. I don't rest. Oh, fidgets. And, oh, that was gross. I'm so sorry on the mic. Anyway, I can't rest. And as soon as there's a space, like, you know, when you get all stressed and stuff and you're like, oh my God, I've got too much to do. And how is this a thing? And I've got to do the thing with the parenting and I've got stuff for work and I've just got, and I need to, right? And you do all those things. And then you cut, I do this, right? I almost get secateurs and I just cut through everything and I make sure everything's done. Then I cut it off and it's done and it's done and it's cut. And I say no for a while and I go a little bit shit. And then the minute everything gets back in some form of balance, I go, oh, I'm a bit bored.
Yeah.
And then I do something. And I'm like, what I should do is 11 billion other things. That would be amazing. Thank you so much. Yes, let's do that.
That's how we roll. Yeah. I'm the same. I get to a point where I just go, I can't do anymore.
Yeah.
But with fibromyalgia, I physically can't do a lot of things right now, and the more I use my brain and my cognitive capacity, the more it tires me out to be able to do the other things. So I have learned to be slightly better at pacing. It's not my natural brain habit or way of working.
Yeah.
But when I learned that mindfulness for neurodivergent people is movement, that changed my life, because I kept trying to fit into that mold of like, breathe deeply and sit there with silence and sit in your own thoughts. And my thoughts are pinging off 24 walls at a time. Yeah. There's no mindfulness in that for me. I find it physically painful to try and sit through just deep breathing and nothing in the background.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you said to me about the mindfulness is movement thing. God, almost one of the first things you said to me when we met, actually. And I was like, oh, that makes so much sense, because I've done the same. And you try to meditate, and the harder you try, the worse it feels.
Yep. It's like physically painful.
Yeah.
But
I do yoga.
I was about to say, now I'll do like, if I need to calm, I'll do some yin yoga or somatic yoga. but I will move in it. So sometimes I'll rock if I need to, if that's where my body and my stem needs to go. Sometimes I'll just kind of sit in the stretch for a while. It depends, but it's helpful.
I do Apple Fitness yoga, so I don't know what type of yoga that is. It's on my Apple Fitness app, and I put it on my telly. So it's probably yin. I don't know.
Yeah, totally.
Totally somatic. I don't know. I have no idea what type of yoga it is. It is a stretchy yoga where I just stretch, and I really like doing pigeon.
Yeah, me too.
Oh my God. Gets so into the hips. It's amazing.
Really releases a lot of stress.
And I do like to thread the needle.
Mm-hmm. I can't thread that needle at the moment. Everything hurts. But I do love to thread a sewing needle.
Oh, God. I had to sew these freaking hair extensions on. It took me, there are 10 clips in total, right? On these, all the different hair extension things that I did, right? That I made the clip-in ones. There's 10 clips across all of them in total. Took me about 3 days. Each clip only has about 8 stitches.
Oh my God. Okay, so just so everyone knows, I'm going to Canberra this weekend from regional Victoria to help craft for Wild for Mardi Gras because Callie's response to it needs to be done was, nah, I can't. It's not me.
I can't do it.
So we're going to do it together so I can hold her hand through it.
Yay, thank you. So we can put some lights on the signs and we'll do all the stuff. Ew, gross. All right.
Anyway, what's been up with you?
I don't know. What have I been doing? Probably the same stuff as you've been doing. So I think it's exciting what we're doing in that neuro-inclusion space and the fact that we're really starting to get some traction on the framework, which is really cool. And I love the fact that I've had conversations this week of, but is it a framework? From like some learning and development, like specialist type people where they're like, look, lots of people think they've made a framework. Let us have a little look. And I'm like, I mean, Jane's a bit of an okay. Yes, please tell us. And then, and then when they're like, oh, okay, so this is quite an extensive, and and we're like, it is a framework, right? Mm-hmm. It's a framework, and I love when they go, oh, but now it's just more work, and we're like, no. Here's one we prepared earlier, because what it actually does is you see all your motherhood statements in all of your strategies and your plans. This helps you to actually make them tangible. So I've been enjoying that and figuring out how to write about that stuff, and how to put it in a way that people listen to and hear and they're interested in. But I've got a heap of speaking stuff coming up as well. So I've got loads of prep happening for that. Yeah.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. So I'm going to be at Australian Healthcare Week in Sydney in March 11th, I think it is. And then we've got the Neurodiversity Summit coming up in April, end of April as well. And we've got workshops all the way through the next 3 months as well. So it's going to be really, really busy.
Such a good way, though.
It is. And it's nice, like, when you get there. And I've got loads of collaboration type stuff. People coming up and going, hey, I'm loving this idea of, what was it called? The collective consultancy or something like that?
Yeah.
I think that you shared that reel. I love the idea that we're all women pretty much. So we're all people who have our own business. We're doing consultancy or whatever it is. And we're all kind of adjacent in the same type of work. There's coaching, there's leadership, there's all that type of stuff happening. There's people who are doing psychology, there's people doing, training or whatever. But we're all also a little bit different. Mm-hmm. And what I'm loving is this idea that we can all work together. There's no fear of competition, like there is some competition. There will be things that we'll pitch for together potentially, but then there's things I love that I can just go, oh, hey, I don't want to do this one, or I don't have capacity to do it. But I can send you off to this person though who can, which is a really cool way that I want to do business, which leads into, do you want to talk about the Neuro-Inclusive Collective?
I would love to talk about the Neuro-Inclusive Collective. So this isn't even something that I've really announced yet, but I think it's time.
I think it's time.
I think it's happening. So the Neuro-Inclusive Collective was an idea born out of my journey as a late-stage diagnosed woman who went through a lot of grief and a lot of unlearning and relearning and coaching from people and all of that kind of stuff. And I just went, there's got to be a better way. We need to be supporting people. We need to be bringing community together. Part of that work is what we've done with Wild. But a big part of that work is what you've just been talking through, which is how do we bring our collective of supportive and like-minded people who are progressing the neuro-inclusive culture and space, both in community and organizations and even homes, to somewhere where we can all access those resources together and just collectively build each other up, because that's not going to happen without community. So the whole idea and what we want the Neuro-Inclusive Collective to be and to look like is almost like a directory, but more so a community of neuro-inclusivity that we can get people involved in and organizations involved in that really lead in the space of neuro-inclusion.
Yeah, I love it. And also, as you say, that directory piece, the idea is that if you are somebody who does neurodivergent focused or neuro-inclusive stuff, provides some sort of service, whether it's profit, non-profit, whatever, you know, you kind of can be included on it, right? As long as you're not a dickhead. So this effectively is, we don't want dickheads. We want people that we genuinely, what's the best way to put that? We want to make sure that the people are genuine in what they're doing. Yeah. That it's not just, you know, I'm sorry to say this, but not just the whole, you could become an ADHD coach in just 72 hours, where you answered an ad off Instagram, basically, and did some probably, I don't want to say definitely sketchy, but, you know, like there is so much more to working in the neurodiversity space than just doing some, like jumping on a bandwagon, right? Mm-hmm. And there are bandwagons. There are bandwagons galore, Jane.
Left, right, and centre.
Right? And we were talking about this a little bit, actually, with a different topic, you know, just before we came on mics, about how as neurodivergent people, sometimes we can be a bit easy to take advantage of, right? Mm-hmm. And we were talking about it. We won't go into that context because that was in a much darker context that we were talking about. But in business, that happens too. And if you are neurodivergent and you've come up again and again and again in a workplace or in relationships or, you know, in anything else, and then you've got somebody going, do you know what? I did a course and I can fix you. Mm-hmm. Fuck off. You know what I mean? Like, it feels so disgusting. It feels so yuck. And
but we inherently want to trust them because we inherently think, but they have the best intentions and they obviously know what they're talking about. But there are so many things out there that aren't accredited. Yes.
Grifting. Don't be a grifter. If you are a neurodivergent person and you're listening to this, just check out the people who promise you the world. Because I'm telling you now, I've been in this space for a while now, and I've been in leadership for a while. It's not an easy flipping thing. If you are caught up in it as a neurodivergent person and you're in a place of pain, that's not an easy thing to just come in. Nobody's fixing that for you. Mm-hmm. You know, like people can come in and support you through it. And there are tools and there are strategies and abso-flippin'-lutely. But nobody can fix anything because you know what? Probably it doesn't need to be fixed. Mm-hmm. Right? So if somebody's promising you that shit, tell them they're dreaming.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself. We're just going to come out with one-liners this whole time.
We're just going to, right? And also adverts. Because at the moment it does what it says on the tin. And also tell them they're dreaming. Oh, no, that was a movie, wasn't it?
That's from the movie. I will say, caveat, there are some benefits to those short courses online that you can easily and quickly sign up to from Instagram. Like if, for example, if I was to do a little course, I would just count it as continual learning in my life because I want to know as many things as I can. Yeah. But it doesn't mean that I think I am now qualified to do what should be done with lots of years of experience and academia and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, there's a place for them.
Yeah,
online
but
courses.
If you're coming into it new, right? If you are just someone who has no real experience, and lived experience is so important, I think, as well. I think it's very difficult. However, it's also not the be all and end all, right? Like lived experience is really important as an element. It's a facet of it. It doesn't make you qualified to then be able to kind of help other people work through their challenges, because if their challenges are absolutely nothing like yours, that lived experience thing doesn't count as much. But I also think, so this is where I get a little bit caught up in it, I also think that coaches or people in this space should have lived experience too. So I think there's a balance, you know, and I think on those courses, as you say, off Instagram, I've done marketing ones. right, off there. But I also have done marketing and comms, like at university. So you know what I mean? Like there's a difference between what you're saying about the ongoing learning, and I will do more coaching training. I will do more neurodivergent awareness and learning about different things that come up, and I will do other people's courses for that. But if I'm working in something entirely not that, or even something adjacent, I wouldn't then think I'm then qualified. Yeah, I wouldn't just do one of those courses and then think that's okay.
It's interesting, though. I remember having this conversation with one of my friends when I was quite a bit younger. I'm not going to disclose how old I am now, but I was younger.
Yeah.
And I hadn't quite finished university yet. I was in my 3rd or 4th year. And we were talking about, I was studying to be a social worker, specializing in youth work. We were talking about drug use. And at that time, I was like, I don't want to take drugs. I'm terrified of what it will do. I've seen lots of bad things happen to other people. I just don't want to do it. That person said to me, you can't work with young people if you've never done it. You don't know what it's like. And I was like, do I have to be homeless to work with homeless people? So I find it, and I think that's where I get caught in it. My brain goes, but I am the kind of person who could have the empathy and the understanding of a situation, regardless of the semantics of it, to be able to work with the person. And that's probably not everybody can't do that. But I can also see, like, if I do some courses, they might not be 12,000 hours or whatever, but I can combine that with interoperable skills and be able to work with the person.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
100%. And I do this as well, where I go, well, no, surely not only lived experience people can be coaches. So that's my emotional brain versus my logical brain, right? So my emotional brain is like, if you have never hated yourself to the degree that a lot of neurodivergent people have hated themselves, you can't talk to me about hating myself. Okay. Do you know what I mean? Like but again, that is emotional. It's not the rational piece. So yeah, you are totally right. Like, there is the emotional and logical thing. But I stand by, if you have no other form of experience or qualifications, you do not get to do a 72-hour course on fucking Instagram and then decide you're an ADHD coach.
If I want to be a doctor, I'm going to do a 72-hour online course and I'm qualified. It's fine.
It's fine. And there are definite grifters out there that have done that. And you know what? I'm going to say this. There will be people out there who will go, well, Callie, where are all of your blah, 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 right? Because I've got degrees, I've got qualifications, I've got different things. But there will absolutely be people who are like, but you don't have the right ones. And that's cool. So I don't want to be that asshole to other people as well. But if you got nothing else, a 72-hour Instagram course will not make you an ADHD coach.
Whoa. Okay, I think we've heard how Callie feels about these courses. But if anyone else has any advice or any stories around those.
Okay, that is a really good point. And look, I am always, in fact, one of my favorite things in life is to learn new things that make me realize how wrong I was about the thing I thought before. So if there is something that makes me do that, I am here for it. Send it in. I love. And in fact, one of my favorite things about leadership, just total side quest, but one of my favorite things about leadership when I was leading teams and stuff before I started working for myself was standing up there as a senior leader and going, do you know what? I'm probably wrong. Somebody tell me I'm wrong. And then they test me over and over, just to see if I actually would go, no. And I'd be like, oh, that's way better than I was thinking. Yeah, let's do that one now.
So good.
That's my new opinion. So yeah.
So you'll switch it in a second.
100%.
Actually, it reminds me of, I watched a TikTok series recently. I got so deep into it. I had a deep dive moment and I maybe scrolled for too long before realizing what I was doing. Never happens otherwise. A woman on TikTok has decided to do a series on 1,000 rejections. So she is documenting she wrote down the first whatever many, and then she's written 1,000 is her goal. And her goal is to be rejected, because she was like, I'm reframing it that every time I get a rejection, I'm learning something. If I don't get rejected, something's happening that never would have happened if I hadn't have asked it. Yeah. And it is like just a silly TikTok series, but it really changed the way that I look at it and go, oh my goodness. I can't even remember what we were talking about before this because I got so distracted by my TikTok laugh of that person. Matter.
But I'll be honest, I think TikTok and short form videos and all those things are actually really bloody important. And I think anybody who thinks they're just silly, right, has no idea. It's like, tell me you don't understand culture without telling me you don't understand culture. Tell me you don't understand different ways of learning and receiving information without, because you know what, like a 1 minute TikTok can get the messages across or establish some form of foundational idea for someone that going to an hour-long lecture might not, you know? So I think there are different ways of receiving information. So I actually, now you've said it, I do remember, maybe you mentioned it to me before about this 1,000 hours, or I've heard it on some other podcast or something. She is getting apparently like all of these like amazing opportunities and
opportunities from it, from just trying to get a rejection and knowing that if they say no, that's what she wanted in the first place.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Maybe. We should totally start getting that audacity.
I'd love some AuDHD.
AuDHD. Yeah. It would be nice.
I will. I was about to keep going on what we were saying before, but I'm not going to.
So what we've just established is that when there's a long enough pause, and I think we've made a definitive statement, I will just press the no button without any warning.
I was going to say that I will die on this hill. I love short form content, but I do wish I would see more references for things. There is so much out there in this day and age that is spreading things that aren't helpful. It's different if someone's talking about their own experience.
Yep.
But I am frustrated by the lack of references and untruthful things that are then being picked up and carried on and amplified.
Yeah. We got a couple of axes to grind today, hey?
I have access to grind every day.
Yeah.
Day.
To be fair, I agree with you because there are things, but I've actually done this as well, right? So I wrote up my 5 neurodivergent love languages several years ago. And I based them off something by steampunks, right? And so they weren't their thing, but that's where I was inspired by. And when I wrote, and it's pinned in my Instagram, and I put on there based on the, the work put forward by steampunks or whatever, right? Mine have been used now and replicated word for word hundreds of times, if not more. They're just ones I know about. Not once have I been referenced or thing. And I just kind of go, you know what? Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, I guess.
That's what you wanted from the start. It's fine.
That is absolutely what I wanted. I never wanted to build a profile, Jane. It's fine.
I don't care.
But I do think, because I actually often see these short form things and, we obviously share a roulette type of thing, right? We do a lot of sharing as is the modern way. I often, if it's something you've sent me or I found or whatever, I'll then go Google it before I share it. Sometimes I don't. If I'm just in that, scroll and share, I'm waiting for somebody else to tell me that it doesn't fucking exist and it's not real, right? And sometimes I will, or I'll send them to myself without sending them to anyone else so that I can then remind myself that I want to go look into this. Is this actually real? Because you get a lot of people out there that will come on and they'll go direct to camera and they'll go, right, so this is the new fact that's happened. And it's about the fact that, did you know that colour that we all call pink is actually a form of green? And here's why. And then they'll talk to you like it's the most definite thing in the entire world. And then you're like, oh my God, okay, cool. And then you get sent things where, did you know that pink is actually green? And then anyway, so
I love it when people just share their own experience and their own story. And there have been some times recently where I have talked about something, like recently I talked about fibromyalgia and temperature regulation and why I'm a constant sweaty mess because I can't regulate anything. And I found academic references to support that because I didn't feel comfortable putting that out there without knowing I was providing actual information behind it, but it was from my experience still. So it's hard for me to step out of that space of, I feel like I shouldn't share things because I'm going to be wrong about it and people will tell me I'm wrong, to being able to share.
But I think that's different. If you go, I'm a hot, sweaty mess and I reckon there's something in this, you can say on it, I don't know if there's any research on this. I'm going to go down that rabbit hole and look. You know what I mean? Like, you can say that. You can still talk about your experience. I think there's a big difference with talking about your experience and then presenting that as a universal experience, or presenting that as fact. Or, you know, you can say, yeah, well, because this happened to me and, you know, it seems to be a recurring thing, and what the hell? That's very different to, so what happens in these situations is, or this type of a person always. I was at a friend's house a few months ago, and her daughter, who was a tween, came in and was like, did you know ADHDers, when they leave one room and they go into another room, they can't remember what they went there for?
I mean, not all the time.
Well, and that's, I said to her, I said, oh, that's really funny. I said, yeah, that can happen sometimes. Yeah. And she was like, no, it's like all ADHDers do it. And that was because
she's not wrong. We do.
She'd seen it on like Instagram or wherever she'd seen it on, right? But it was presented in those things she'd seen as fact. And then because she'd watched one, she got 100 more, you know, all saying the same thing. But the reality is, yes, ADHD often involves working memory issues, right? Like often, but not every single person presents in exactly the same way. And
nor every time you walk into a room.
Exactly. That, I think, is the challenge, which kind of actually links back to our previous point around people stating stuff when they've frankly got no business to. So, you know, like,
now we just tell everyone we're hot, sweaty messes and we move on.
I am a hot, sweaty mess. There are multiple things that could be contributing. I believe it's this.
I don't even, I'm literally just going to say I'm a hot, sweaty mess.
Yeah.
The end.
Well, but then let's talk about Neuro-Inclusive Collective, because that collective community experience is, I have fibro, I'm a hot, sweaty mess. Does anybody else with fibro get this, right? That's different again. That is actually seeking community. That is, we've mentioned Charlie Hart on the podcast before, on the Wild podcast, right? They did a post on LinkedIn, I think, recently, but actually, no, it was on Instagram as well. And they had said about people who perform trauma or perform neurodivergent stereotypes or perform, you know, these various different things on social media just to go viral or just to get followers, where, you know, they have a like recently you were a bit teary on one of the Mardi Gras updates, right? Because of the heat. It's been disgusting. And you were like, oh, you know, and it was a really moving thing. But that is not a performance. There is a massive difference between, okay, I'm trying to minimize this way I'm feeling, but I also don't want to hide it, but I'm certainly not over here making a massive drama over it, to the people who set up a camera on the other side of the room to film themselves having a breakdown where they're laying on the floor. Fuck off. You know, like, seriously, it is performance. If you're not dissociating or having a meltdown, if you've got the presence of mind to set your camera up first, because I do some of that stuff, not the performance or the melodrama or the breakdowns and stuff, but as in I try to set cameras up and do stuff, and it's not a 2-second flipping job. It always takes, and then you have to check and make sure you're in screen where you want to be, and then you have to probably go and adjust the camera. And do you know what I mean?
Let's face it, we'll have tech issues every time.
Oh, well,
every time.
Will. Yeah. But yeah, so that performativeness. Yeah. Okay. Well, turns out I had a few fucking things I was going to complain. I had no idea when we wrote into this. But look, I feel like we haven't necessarily given a lot to people listening right now, other than sometimes this is what you're going to get.
Yeah.
You know, what's the one thing we know about neurodivergence is it's inconsistent. You know, sometimes we're going to be the funniest fucking podcast you've ever listened to. Other times you're going to come on and just go, right, so basically I'm just, this is like what's happening inside my head right now. That's
Things are a lot.
Yeah.
The world is a lot right now.
The world is a lot right now.
And sometimes we are more serious and we have gripes.
Yes. And sometimes, like, I think it's because I've just been spending so much time in this space of how do we make sure we're not doing harm? We're constantly like, is this ready to go? Because is it going to do harm? Not is it ready to go because it's perfect? Although that does happen too. That's a totally separate issue. But like, is this going to do harm? And we overthink and we hold ourselves up and we don't, push things through when we could. And it feels like there are a lot of other people that could really benefit from taking some of that approach.
Validation.
Have you got an ADHD tax?
Always. What did I do this
got one
week?
for
I spent
today.
more money on my costume stuff because, again, my toxic trait is I don't need to buy something if I can make it. So I went to Spotlight for the 19,000th time in the last month and dropped a bomb on things to try and make this thing work.
Yep.
ADHD tax.
Yep. My ADHD tax this week was I got all of our core flutes ordered and everything. So the big signs that we take to Mardi Gras, we got the banner, which is stunning. But I got the big signs and they were too big. So that's fine. They're a bit too big. We only got the first 4 and 2 of them had a printing issue on it anyway. So I've had all 10 remade now. I've reordered them all smaller. I would just wear that. That's on me. That's fine. So yeah, so that was excellent. And also I have been organising a decompression after party type thing for the parade at the wrong hotel. At the hotel I'm not staying at. I thought it was the hotel we were staying at. And I'm like, oh, anyway, so hi, Sofitel. It's not Sofitel that I'm staying at because I'm not rich.
I didn't say anything on your email because I thought maybe they moved hotels.
You mean you knew? And you
I
said
knew.
nothing.
I was literally looking at it going, why are you trying to organise that? Maybe it's close by. Maybe you moved
No.
hotels.
We spent so long being like, how are we going to get there from the thing? Like looking at trains and trams and buses and walking routes. And anyway, it turns out that it's the wrong hotel. So I got to do all that again now for the right hotel.
Oh my God.
Nailed it.
Oh, I love that. I spent so long on the weekend doing wedding paperwork because I'd forgotten that was a part of being a celebrant.
Yeah, there's a legal part. Yeah.
Oh,
100%.
so many
Oh, dear.
legalities.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. Well, look, I reckon we should just end it there. Let's give it I think that's enough for today. We're going to go and take our grumpy asses and our slightly tired and our not quite so sparkly selves away. If you want to ask us a question, ask us to deep dive something, if you want to vent about something, like what is your freaking vent at the moment? Let
What
us
hill
know.
will you die on?
What hill will you die on? What's your special interest right now? Because you know what? Somebody we were speaking with today really just talked a lot about their different special interests. And I was like, yeah, I feel like I have not gone enough into a special interest lately and I want one.
I mean, we have talked a lot about craft in the last 2 episodes.
Oh my God.
But we are
Craft.
inundated with Mardi Gras stuff. So
We are.
tell us about other special interests that exist outside of our world so we can hear
Yeah.
fun things and learn.
Tell us your ADHD tax. Tell
Please.
us your stories. Share with us if you've had a really shitty experience as a result of your neurodivergence in a workplace, as a parent, as a friendship, or in a relationship. Send it to us. We'll unpack it with you. Let's see if we can give you some advice. We do have a little bit behind us. It will not be. We will not be held to it professionally. It might be a little bit sweary.
I've done a 72-hour coaching course, so it's fine. I'm good.
Oh my God, I've done like 5 minutes. So
You are well ready for this.
I am so prepared. But yeah, seriously, send them in. You know what? If you've got something you really wanted to talk with someone about but haven't felt able to, let's be your mates. We'll talk to you about it. It's absolutely fine. Send it in.
We need
FTheMfish.
friends.
Yeah, it's fthemfish@gmail.com. You can also send us a message on our various socials. So we've got NDWild Global on Instagram. We've also got fthemfish, AuDHD for Grown-Ups on Instagram, and the Neuro-Inclusive Collective on Instagram. So come follow any of those. Follow this podcast if you don't already, and it will get better.
Yeah.
I promise.
We will get better at life.
We will. Today's just a tough one. It is too bloody hot and muggy as well. It's been raining for 2 days and now it's all sticky. It's like 40 degrees and sticky and gross.
Killing us all.
Gross. Anyway, we will see you all soon. We'll see you next week, I guess. If you're not on YouTube, get your flaps on YouTube. I just said get your flaps on YouTube.
You
That
did.
was not meant to be what I said. Oh my God. I was I was saying flaps instead of flaps.
That was
Please do not put your flaps on YouTube. Don't put your flaps on YouTube. Oh
You
my
will get
God.
banned.
Oh no. Oh,
Get
dear.
yourself on YouTube.
Come and follow us on YouTube. We've
Follow
got
us
the
at
two different
ND
channels.
Wild Global.
Yes, or FM Fish, AuDHD for grown-ups. Come and find us there and actually see the look on our faces when we just realised what I just said. You can see my amazing hair, and perhaps Jane might even sneak peek some of her costume. I won't, because mine hasn't arrived yet. No. I'm not anxious about it at all. No. It's
I can't craft you a whole costume this weekend. I can't do that.
Oh my God. You might need to. Anyway, all right. We'll see you soon. Love you guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. I can't believe I said get flaps on YouTube. What
you
the
did.
fuck? Oh my
We
God.
are so good at words all the time.
I'm really struggling words in today. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Struggling words
Been
in.
Wordsing. Doing the words. Wordsing. I was playing with all my fidgets as well, and then I was like, oh my God, I hope that whooshy, 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 whooshy isn't. Is this being picked up?
Yeah.
It is now. Hopefully it wasn't during the recording. Oops.
I don't know. But if you could hear my background from outside the house,
Oh.
I feel like that's,
that's a
probably
good
going
point.
to be worse. And also, you heard me
Oopsie.
touching clothes.
Oh, it kept happening. It was so loud. I've never heard it from you before. It's never happened before.
I think
Literally
I
every
turned
time
my
it
mic
was
up
like-
a little bit.
It was like this when you were
It's
doing
so
it.
far away from me.
Yeah, it's
Fucking
really
road
weird.
being too good at things.
I know, fucking idiots. They're not
We
idiots.
never
they
complain about
obviously
tech
do
being too
mics.
good.
No?
We should put in like we have gripes, but let's balance it. Road, you are too good.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna go. I'll see you
Are we
later.
meant to be recording now?
Um,
Did you accidentally hit it again?
It's Kylie and friends. We're too cool, Neurokin and sharing good neurodivergent things. They be clever and quick with a fair bit of sergeant sidestepping, but a step in the right direction, a slight autistic correction. It's more about interception, interpretation, and fuck they give a load of validation.